In 1990, the Miami Dolphins celebrated their silver anniversary, and thanks to some old pros, the season was filled with golden moments.
Marino back to throw, under pressure, will throw it deep. He's got a man down there. This will go! Touchdown, Mark Duper!
For an NFL record 7th consecutive season, Dan Marino threw for more than 3,000 yards. But while football reveres its legends, it is fresh faces and new talents which guarantee continued success in the NFL. And in Sammy Smith, the Dolphins have just such a talent, a back with dogged determination and cat-like quickness. A thoroughbred like Smith would be enough to satisfy most fans' sense of excitement. But the 90 Dolphins were no one-trick pony.
The snap, back he goes to throw. Across the middle, intercepted. This might go for a touchdown and a score for Terry Glenn.
A young and at times dominating defense earned its moniker as the Miami Pound Machine by delivering the big hits and surrendering the fewest points in the AFC. By the end of the regular season, the Dolphins had secured 12 wins and a berth in the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. It proved worth the wait. Though for 3 quarters, Miami's dream season looked like it would end in nightmarish fashion. Trailing 16-3, the situation called for a hero. The response came from an undaunted Dan Marino, who reminded fans that even when they can't believe their eyes, they can still believe in heroes.
Marino looks to throw, passes, caught for a touchdown. Into the end zone goes Tony Page.
Tony Page's score gave Miami fans hope, but it was Marino's 10th consecutive completion which gave them victory.
This is mano-a-mano right here. Marino goes out, it is knocked down. And caught! What a great catch over there by Clayton. He took it right off the hands of the defensive back.
The Dolphins' ultimate victory of their silver season was also their finest, proving that Miami alone may call their history days of victory, years of glory. On September 2nd, 1966, something wonderful happened. It was the birth of the Miami Dolphins. On the first play in Dolphin history, Joe Auer returned a kickoff 95 yards for a touchdown. He never looked back, and neither have the Dolphins. Television star Danny Thomas, originally a part owner of the team, was certainly a bigger name than any of his players. But from the beginning, the Dolphins had an uncanny knack for thrills and the big play. Still, it was more hype than heroism. But by the end of the decade, the nucleus of a champion had been assembled in Miami. It was an ensemble of uncommon men capable of the most extraordinary feats. It was clear by the end of 1969 that the Dolphins were on the fast track. What they needed was an engineer. In 1970, the age of Aquarius was all the rage, but while hippies, hip-huggers, and flower power are relegated to history, 1970 was a year of profound and enduring change for the Miami Dolphins. For it was that year that Don Shula became head coach and the Dolphins joined the NFL. Some things remain unchanged. like Miami's man-eating defense. But there was something different about the 1970 Dolphins. They played with the polish and poise of first-class professionals. It was a change in attitude that Miami discovered quickly and used to its advantage.
We immediately went from a young team who had a bunch of cut-ups and wild guys to some players that were veterans in the league who were quality players, all-pro players. And I think that's when we realized that, hey, it's not too soon, the first year, to really turn this around.
In a single season, the Dolphins went from the AFL team with the poorest record to an NFL playoff team and a legitimate contender. The transformation was nothing short of miraculous, but it wasn't complete.
I think the turning point of the Miami Dolphins, when they grew up, was that year, 1971, when we played the Los Angeles Rams out in Los Angeles. Now, the Rams had a heck of a good football team, and we were sort of still part of the old AFL. We were maturing then. We knew we were maturing, but this was the key game. When we beat the Rams out there, every player to a man turned around to the other player and said, you know something, I think we've arrived. That game, to me, more than any other ball game, set the tone for the Miami Dolphins.
9 more victories wrapped up Miami's first division title as pretty as any Christmas present. The Dolphins, however, still had something to prove.
We were the young upstarts who had had a great season. We had to go out to Kansas City on Christmas Day and try and beat these guys that were supposed to be in the Super Bowl again.
And that game had so many ups and downs. It was an emotional roller coaster. I mean, we did things well, and then we did things poorly.
Poorly included containing Chiefs running back Ed Podolak, who amassed 350 all-purpose yards and staked the Chiefs to a 10-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. The Chiefs were hardly humble, and as the points mounted and a Palomino pranced, the Dolphins' desire grew.
Make a long story short, I've always wished I'd have turned around and just plastered that horse. You know, just jumped on it one time.
Csonka went one better by posting the Dolphins' first score and setting the stage for Bob Griese's pinpoint passes. Griese led Miami back from 3 separate deficits. It was a performance worthy of a double take. But it was in the second overtime when Griese was greatest, not with his arm, but his mind.
It was a play that was really set up, and we hadn't thought about using early in the ball game. And then Griese, somehow, because of his great command of our offense and his ability to think in pressure situations, came up with that play at that particular time.
I had it on my sheet, and I knew we had it in the game plan, but I hadn't run it the whole ball game because that's all I heard them, the Chiefs, looking for the whole game is, you know, watch the misdirection. So I didn't run it, and I almost forgot about it until I reviewed my sheet there in the 6th quarter, and so I haven't run that yet. Maybe they've forgotten about it, and let's run it. And we used to call it
roll right, trap left, where all the action would go one way. I would pull from the backside and lead them through the hole.
It worked to perfection for us. It was the play that got us down in position to kick the field goal that won the football game.
And I'll never forget it, the field goal going through the uprights and a dead silence in the stands. I mean, the silence was overwhelming. And then all of a sudden, the Dolphin players realizing we won the game and getting together and just cheering like crazy.
They had a lot of opportunities to win and didn't do it. We had one opportunity to win, and we won the game, and that's the game that I remember as turning this franchise around.
The longest game in NFL history had been a war of attrition and a battle of nerves. The conference championship game against the Colts was neither. Instead, the Dolphins cruised 21-0, thanks to 2 perfect plays. The first was Paul Warfield's 75-yard catch and run. The second was perhaps the most sublime example of defensive teamwork the game has ever seen.
It was a 62-yard return where our defensive players made 7 perfect blocks. A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There were Colts just laying on the ground, and all I had to do was run around them. Funny story about that is Nick Bonacani keeps telling me that, I was so slow that he went out and got a hot dog, and when I came back I was still running, and I said, that's because you're the only one that didn't make a block.
While it was 2 perfect plays which gave the Dolphins their first conference championship, theirs was not yet perfection. In Super Bowl VI against the Cowboys, uncharacteristic mistakes cost Miami a championship. To come within an ace of glory is an athlete's torment. It is a pain only those with the soul of a champion fully understand.
It's almost worse going to a Super Bowl and losing than not going at all.
The disappointing thing was all the work and all the time and effort that we'd put into that season was down the drain. Just to get back to where we were, we had to go through a whole other season, and just anything could happen. There were no guarantees you're going to get back there.
Landry was the winning coach. The Cowboys were the winning team. And nobody realized it any better than Don Shula, because that made me 0-2 in Super Bowls. And nobody realized it any better than our football team of getting up to the top and then not being able to get over the final hurdle. So that was the motivation that began the next season.
Driven by a desire which plumbed the depths of their psyches, the Dolphins began the 1972 season with a single goal: to finish as world champions. In Week 3, a come-from-behind victory over a powerful Vikings team hinted at the depth of Miami's conviction. Surely this was a team which knew how to overcome, and it appeared they would need all that knowledge when disaster seemingly struck in the season's 5th game.
Shaken up on the play is Greasy.
Yeah, it looks like his right ankle, Rick. It may be right here. He may have to go out on his ball.
When Greasy went down, the big concern was not so much that Earl Morrall was going to be the quarterback, but Earl Morrall, the quarterback who played during the preseason, was terrible.
I was worried, the players were worried. Then Earl got into the huddle. He said, just relax. You guys don't have anything to worry about. We're going to get it done. And that was just Earl's attitude. That was Earl's confidence. That was Earl's nature. He just picked it up and led us to the perfect season.
Morrall on the snap, drops straight back to throw. He sets up, he is firing down in the corner. Warfield, touchdown! Morrall is the quarterback. Earl drops to throw. He sets, he is firing to the near side, fully open, touchdown!
Someone always did something. That was Shula's favorite line right before the game. Somehow, some way, one of us will make the play. Because we had a large group of people that were good athletes, but more than that, they were all winners.
And you went from game to game. It was almost like someone either rescued the team, made the big play when they had to do it, or stopped the team from scoring when they had to do it. It became sort of a contagious thing.
I've never been associated with a team that was so totally focused on a goal. We didn't allow any distractions or anything to occur during the course of that year. And before anyone knew anything, we were up to around 11 or 12 games without a defeat.
The fear of losing motivates a lot of people. We were very confident that we were going to win, but we didn't think we couldn't lose. And I think that's one of the reasons that team was so successful.
Another was Miami's no-name defense. The league's #1 defense may have lacked stars, but never failed to shine, and routinely made the extraordinary play.
He spins, tries to get the handoff away. Hernandez comes in and almost steals the ball. He does!
The league's #1 rated offense combined the brute strength of Larry Csonka and his crushing lead blocks, the clutch running of Jim Kick, and the raw speed and refined body control of number 22 Mercury Morris. In a word, awesome.
hanging onto the football, the long drives, the cashing in on touchdowns, the ability of our defense to keep them from scoring cheap touchdowns. You know, it was really the start of the identity that carried us through the perfect season.
By the end of the regular season, the Dolphins were an unprecedented 14-0. Yet Miami was not satisfied, for their goal still lay ahead.
The important factor in everybody's mind, again, was getting to the Super Bowl. We had to get to the Super Bowl. If we went undefeated, fine. If we didn't, so what? We just knew we had to win the season, win the playoffs, and get to the Super Bowl.
With the unwavering resolve and relentless play of a champion, Miami defeated Cleveland in the AFC playoff game where Jim Kick's 8-yard touchdown run set up a showdown against the Steelers for the conference championship.
Bring up a 4th down, and Larry Csonka is in to punt. We had a dream earlier this week in which he ran 81 yards for a touchdown. Csonka standing back to the Dolphins 35. Now he's going to run with the ball.
It wasn't 81 yards, but never have 37 yards meant more to a team. It was nothing less than genius, eloquent in conception, brilliant in execution. The Dolphins' second consecutive AFC championship left them but a single victory from a Super Bowl title, a perfect season, and football immortality. Memorial Coliseum, Los Angeles, Super Bowl VII. The Dolphins arrived at their destination with their dream intact and their goal in sight. So dominant was Miami, the Redskins crossed midfield only once in the first half. Two interceptions by Super Bowl MVP Jake Scott, coupled with Greasy's 28-yard touchdown to Dolphin original Howard Twilley, seemed more than enough to cap a perfect season.
Bob drops the throw. He sets up. He is firing for Twilley. He's got it. And he's in for the touchdown.
But ask anyone to name a moment from that glorious year, and they'll probably name the most inglorious moment of all.
We were lining up for a field goal with 2 minutes or less to go in the ball game. 14-0. Garrow makes this field goal. We win 17-0, and the season ends 17-0, undefeated. So it was a fitting way. I'm thinking, this is nice. You know, we're in L.A., and this is where movies and dreams are carried out. And
I think Garrow always pictured himself as Roman Gabriel in 6'6" and flowing hair, standing amidst the masses and throwing the winning touchdown. Garrow's dream didn't come true quite that way. He suddenly had a football on a block kick. Rather than just tucking the ball in and falling down, he seized the moment. He threw the football much like my kid's sister did when she was 5 years old, and it went straight up in the air and bounded off a couple guys' hands, and a defensive back for Washington Redskins caught it and went 60-some yards the opposite direction.
On the board and making a new ball game. Just as we were raving about a victory here with 2 minutes and 7 seconds to go, Garrow.
To be honest with you, if I would have been Garrow Upremium after that play, I would have run out at the end of the Coliseum and borrowed someone's car and drove to the coast and taken a boat back to Cyprus.
But I was ready to grab a little ball-headed kicker around the neck and squeeze very tightly until he couldn't have any more air. But as he came off the field, he carefully avoided me. He went down to the other end, and although I started to chase, somebody held me back.
But nothing could hold Miami back, and Garrow's goof proved more a chuckle than a disaster. The Dolphins were Super Bowl champions, a perfect 17-0. It had never happened before. It is not likely to ever happen again. To bask in the sunshine of success is a champion's privilege. And with personalities the equal of their considerable talents, it was no surprise that the Dolphins and celebrity got along famously. There was Butch Kick and Sundance Csonka. Manny Fernandez handling snakes as easily as he handled opposing offenses, while the dulcet tones of Tim Foley and Garo Yepremian topped the charts.
The miracle that I've prayed for, you're more than I ever hoped you'd be. Want to lose, I've lived my life in vain. All my dreams have only brought me.
Beauty may be in the ear of the beholder, but it really wasn't the top 40 the Dolphins aspired to.
Now we had nothing to prove. We're the only undefeated team in NFL history. We atoned for that terrible loss to Dallas in Super Bowl VI. So what do we do when we go to training camp? He gets on and his first speech is, you guys could be the greatest team in NFL history because we can tie the Green Bay Packers of winning back-to-back Super Bowls.
We felt that we were going to be as good or better than we were the year before, but we also knew that it was going to be tougher to stay on top than it was to get to the top. We knew that we would be the target, that everybody would be aiming for the team that had won all the games the year before.
The Dolphins resisted the temptation to rest and worked through the capricious South Florida summer storms to extend their reign as football's premier team. The Dolphins were determined to ride a rainbow to a second pot of gold. It seemed unbelievable, but the Dolphins made the plays every bit as spectacular as they had the season before. Miami finished the season 12-2, but in many ways that team had been even more dominant than it had a season earlier. In fact, some pretty convincing people believe the '73 team was even better than its more famous predecessor.
I always felt that that team was better than the team that went undefeated. We knew that every team we played was going to want to come out and knock us off.
The Dolphins cruised to a third straight division title, and if possible, had an even easier time in the playoffs. Their first victim was the Cincinnati Bengals. In the AFC Championship game against the Raiders, guard Larry Little's crushing blocks spoke for the whole team. The Dolphins would not be denied a second consecutive Lombardi trophy.
Going into the playoffs, we had supreme confidence, and we just swept the playoffs. I mean, it wasn't even close. And then in the Super Bowl ball game, it was just complete domination.
And I can remember earlier in the week laying down in the bus before practice. I actually fell asleep, and I never do that. But I was just so confident. We were so well prepared. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. We knew what they were going to do. It was fun to play because it was like being a chess master.
The offense really had the confidence that they could take apart the Viking defense. And when you look at the highlight film of the holes that Csonka was running through that day, they were unbelievable.
Csonka did not squander his opportunities, racking up a then Super Bowl record 145 yards rushing. For his efforts, Csonka was named the game's MVP, but it really could have been anyone, because on that day, the Dolphins were as close to perfect as any team could be in registering a 24-7 victory. Again, the Dolphins were world champions. In 2 sublime seasons, the Dolphins compiled an incredible 32-2 record and 2 Super Bowl titles. Achievement so great that only because they did it do we believe it could be done. If you had to assemble a team of unselfish players who possessed mental and physical toughness and a zest for combat in a crisis, it would be Don Shula's dynastic Dolphins of the 70s.
That was a team that had leadership from within. It had built-in intelligence. They called us unemotional. I don't agree with the fact that we were unemotional. We weren't loud people that went around slapping each other. There wasn't any false enthusiasm with that football team.
It was the most unselfish group of people that I've ever been around. Yet on the field, there was a total single-mindedness of purpose, that everybody knew that we were there to win a football game and nothing else mattered.
We had a bunch of guys that were overachievers, a bunch of guys that were leaders, a bunch of guys that didn't want to get beat.
No one played fiercer than the no-name defense, a unit so tough and proud that if Rambo was in it, he would have been the cook. The names were Heinz, Denherder, Stanfill, Fernandez, Colin, Matheson, Swift, Anderson, Scott, Foley, Mumford, and Johnson. The leader on the sideline was innovative Bill Arnsparger. On the field, it was the incendiary Nick Bonaconti.
He was a yeller and a screamer and an Italian, and it's what you expect.
Very emotional, the kind of guy that would raise a little hell sometime on the sidelines, in the locker room, in the huddle.
Bonaconti was such a positive influence on our football team because he wouldn't stand for anything but best effort. That if anybody else made a mistake, he was on it right now, and he wouldn't tolerate mistakes by his teammates, and he never made any mistakes himself. He was too small, he was too slow to play the game, yet he played it better than most people.
The no-names always used their heads and their hearts. Other units may have been more exciting, controversial, or talented, but nobody ever matched the Dolphins for smarts.
11 guys working together, no mistakes, don't give up the cheap touchdown, make them earn it. If they make a mistake, let's capitalize on it.
The resourceful Dolphin defense had an ideal partner in the offense, a unit of men that was honest to the man.
Honest guys. You can huddle when a quarterback looks at you and say, in 3rd and 1 in a critical times, can you get this guy, can we run ride 34? And the guy says, no. That's very humbling. I mean, you always say, yeah. I mean, there was guys in that huddle in the year before and after that I'd ask and say, oh yeah, run it over me, and we'd get stuffed.
Monty Clark and John Sandusky's great offensive lines featured Norm Evans, Doug Cruzan, Bob Kuchenberg, Hall of Famer Jim Langer, Wayne Moore, and Larry Little. It was a synchronized, brutal blocking unit.
What I remember most about the offensive line is the tenacity, the toughness that they showed, the ability to play through injuries. In the games that were very physical, they just wanted to dominate. They wanted to be the offensive line that won the battle of pushing the defensive line back. Those long drives, they'd come off after the end of it and they were tired. But they knew that we had controlled the football and that we had put the ball into the end zone. It was a unit that had a great deal of pride in one another.
Pride was also the byword of Larry Csonka, Jim Kick, and Mercury Morris. A backfield composed of power, precision, and speed. Jim Kick, number 21, was a clutch runner, at his best in the crunch at the goal line. Mercury Morris was not a dragster who loved straightaways, but a sports car. And no one cornered or spun out of trouble better than number 22. Morris was so overloaded with talent, you would think he would short circuit. On the train that pulled these Dolphins, the runaway locomotive was Larry Csonka. The Hall of Fame fullback bullied defenses, wore them down, and proved to be the key to Miami's grind it out, grind them down ball possession attack.
Larry Csonka gave us that tremendous physical, the feeling of being more powerful than the people that we were playing against. And all you had to do was look at Csonka and you got that feeling, because this was a powerful man.
Csonka was probably the toughest fullback to ever play the game. He was an emotional type on the field. He would take the blows and shake them off. Guys really try to punish him too, but he did most of the punishing. Just a physically tough individual.
He played hurt. The more he bled, the better he played.
He loved the competition, and he loved it when he was dirty and muddy, and when the blood was dripping down, and when he was tired, and he knew that he could hang in there tougher than his opponent.
Tackling Csonka was like taking a heavyweight right hand to the heart. It made one's knees weak and the body ready to crumble. Although many receivers are considered royalty, they were just playing in the court of the king, Paul Warfield. The man they called Poetry in Motion was the master of the post pattern and was the quick scoring threat in the Dolphins' ball control offense. Quarterback Bob Greasy was the conductor who orchestrated all the instruments into a symphony of triumph. He was the ultimate team player because he sacrificed individual glory for Dolphins' victories.
I was never a guy that was going to carry a team by myself. I wasn't big and strong-armed and throw the ball a long way or could run real fast. You give me some players around me and some talent, and I'll find a way to win.
He was an unselfish person. He never had to throw the football or never had to read about his name being in print.
Bob Greasy just took a great deal of pride in calling his own plays and preparing and getting himself ready. And when the game started, he became the chess master, the guy that was going to move the parts around and do the things that had to be done at the right time.
The Dolphins of the 70s were true testimony to the axiom, the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. Their spirit was more than the will to win. It was the quality of competing with courage and character. By the 1974 playoffs, football's crown jewels had been in Miami for 2 years. An unprecedented third consecutive Lombardi Trophy was within reach. And although they trailed the Oakland Raiders with only minutes to play, the Dolphins had other worries.
The only thing that we didn't want to do was score a touchdown that early. We gave the ball to Benny Malone. Benny refused to be tackled. He ran over people. He got into the end zone, and we scored a touchdown.
That run was vintage Miami, decisive and clutch. But the timing was tricky. For while it gave Miami the lead, it also gave Oakland the ball and one last chance at an upset.
Looking, he's under the gun, he's fired, he throws, it is! Oh, he caught
it! To some, it was football's greatest game. The Dolphins, however, had a different perspective.
It was like someone kicked me in the stomach. I mean, it was such a horrible letdown to get that close, having an opportunity to go on and possibly get to a third Super Bowl and have a great play like that, take it right out of your hands.
You know, that was a particularly crippling end of a great team, particularly knowing that Csonka, Kick, and Warfield were leaving the next year. We really wanted to win the whole thing, and knowing that the team was breaking up.
You could see it in their eyes. The team was moving in new directions. But a couple of constants remained. One was a visionary, Don Shula. The other was a bespectacled Bob Griese. Despite all pro credentials, Griese's glasses sometimes received more attention than his passes. Perhaps opponents would have been better served to ignore new fashion, because on the field, Miami's style never really changed. It was the big play and even bigger hits. Instead of the me decade, the 70s could have been called the Miami decade. Consider their 20-0 record against the Bills during the 70s, or their 7 playoff appearances. But what made Miami great wasn't numbers, but the innumerable great plays born of desire and executed with a style and panache all its own. The Dolphins have a history of leading, not following. And it was in that spirit that in 1981, Miami unveiled the NFL's first two-headed quarterback. Veteran Don Shula was a thinking man's passer who made it happen from the pocket, while David Woodley was an athlete who made it happen anywhere he could. They were two bodies of one mind, winning. And by season's end, Woodstock had secured Miami's 4th division title in 5 years. It was old hat to Dolphins fans. They had seen it all before, but no one had ever seen anything like the 1981 playoff game against the Chargers. Down 24-0 before halftime, the Dolphins were desperate enough to even try an old schoolyard play.
He's firing for Harris. Lateral to Tony Nathan. 20, 15, 10, 5.
It was vintage Miami. Pull out all the stops and let the chips fall where they may. And even more important than putting Miami on the board, it created excitement.
The excitement in the stands, and the fans never sat down at halftime. That excitement just continued all during the halftime. And I got in there, and our football players were so excited at halftime, coming back and getting into the ball game, and then the great play on the hook lateral, that I figured that the only thing that I could do is mess it up by trying to give a speech at halftime. So I just didn't say very much at all to the team, and they couldn't wait to get back out onto the field.
With good reason. Because with each pass more and more critical, Shula incredibly became more and more deadly. His 4th touchdown pass brought Miami close. And finally, on the first play of the 4th quarter, Tony Nathan miraculously brought home the lead. It was a lead which proved impossible to hold. And in the 14th minute of overtime, the miracle ended. Some folks enjoy being the center of attention, and surely the Dolphins have never had a shortage of heroes who basked in the sunlight of success. But let us not forget those whose long service was sometimes subtle, but never unimportant. For 15 years, Bob Kuechenberg threw the key blocks that enabled others to express themselves, each in his own style. There was the versatile Tony Nathan, a thoroughbred, only faster. And what about Benny Malone's distinctive bow-legged prance? He wasn't much on style, or maybe it was that he had a style all his own. For as surely as a running back has to follow his blocks to be successful, so too must he follow his instincts. Benny Malone wasn't the only Dolphin with a signature style, however. Duriel Harris specialized in the spectacular. Oddly, however, the Dolphins' all-time leading receiver didn't have an outstanding attribute. It's not that he was bland, actually. It's just that Nat Moore could do it all. His 510 receptions, totaling more than 4 miles in yardage, resulted in 74 touchdowns, each all-time Miami records.
He was an outstanding player. He thought like a quarterback. He didn't have the size that Warfield had. He was a great athlete, had a lot of talent, but he also realized what his shortcomings were and was willing to stay out and work on them.
For 13 seasons, Nat Moore was Miami's offensive marvel. But in 1982, the Dolphins had a new phenomenon, the NFL's best defense. Dubbed the Killer Bees, as much for their swarming, stinging style as the phenomenal number of 6 starters whose surnames began with B. The Killer Bees blitzed, bullied, and bludgeoned opposing offenses into submission. Number 73, Bob Baumhauer, and number 77, A.J. Dewey, were the prime movers on a defense which knew how to shake things up. Baumhauer earned his 3rd trip to the Pro Bowl that year. But it was in the 1982 AFC Championship game against the Jets that Dewey earned much more. He seemed omnipresent that day. By alternately using a 3-point stance and the traditional linebacker posture, Dewey confused the Jets all day. After stopping the run, he dropped into pass coverage where he intercepted 3 passes, returning 1 for a touchdown in a 14-0 Dolphin victory.
It's intercepted at the line of scrimmage. It's going to be run in for a touchdown by A.J. Dewey at the 10, the 5. He scores!
Joe Robbie had every reason to smile. That victory sent them to Super Bowl 17 against the Washington Redskins, their victims in Super Bowl 7. Early on, it appeared history would repeat itself. David Woodley's 76-yard scoring strike to Jimmy Cephalo shocked the Skins. But it was kick returner Fulton Walker who would shock the world. Walker's Super Bowl records for returns still stand. Miami's lead did not. John Riggins' touchdown in the 4th quarter gave the Redskins a lead they never relinquished. Uncharacteristically, the Dolphins would have to settle for second best. In the '83 draft, he was passed over by 26 NFL teams. The only question is, why? Because since then, Dan Marino has done the passing in a way no one ever has. Don Shula knew what he had and did something about it.
Woodley was an athlete playing quarterback. Marino was a quarterback playing quarterback. When we knew what we had to work with, we immediately tailored our offense around Marino to get the most out of this great ability that he had. He did things early in his career that no other quarterback has ever done, and if you can extend it over a period of time, he'll rewrite all of the record books. He makes the quick decisions. The ball, after he makes a decision, gets from the arm to the receiver quicker than any other quarterback that's ever played the game. Well, nobody could stop us. Our offense just was destroying everybody that year. We were breaking all of the records. Marino had 48 touchdown passes during the year, and our pass offense was virtually unstoppable.
It wasn't a boast, it was fact. The Marino-led offense was unstoppable. Its potency was never more sharply defined than in the final game of the 1984 season. In a Monday night affair, a nationwide audience watched agog as Marino riddled the Cowboy defense seemingly at will.
Sideline, caught, this may go! 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Miami!
Still, the game was tied with fewer than 2 minutes remaining when irony met victory.
And we call it the pattern a Texas pattern because it tells everybody what to do. The tight end crosses and the flanker squares in and the split runs a Z and deep over the top. And that was the play that bailed us out that night. It was strange. It was the Texas pattern that beat the Cowboys. And on that last play, we caught the Cowboys in a blitz and they had one-on-one coverage. And Marino had time to throw it in the face of the blitz, and Clayton got open.
Fires the middle. Clayton's got it. 50, 45, 3 minute goal. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Miami. That's 18 touchdown receptions.
Clayton's record-setting performance assured the Dolphins of home field advantage through the playoffs. Not that they needed the edge. Miami waltzed through the playoffs, including a 45-28 dismantling of the Steelers in the AFC Championship game. It was Miami's 5th AFC title win without a loss. But when the scene changed from sunny South Florida to a gloomy Stanford Stadium for Super Bowl 19, so did the Dolphins. Miami was never really in the game, but as painful as the loss was that day, it took some time for its significance to register.
At the time, I was disappointed, but I figured, hey, we'll be back and I'll win another one. And unfortunately, we haven't been back. So now you look at it and you say, geez, if I ever have an opportunity again, I better take advantage of it because you might not get that chance to win a Super Bowl ever again.
Defeats are never easy, but when the real Dolphins come into focus, one finds an organization dedicated to greatness. A team where the measure of a man is not yards gained, but sweat lost and effort exerted. A team of tangible talent, certainly, but much more than that. A team of desire, will, and heart. Perhaps that explains why, when the hour is darkest, Miami shines brightest. Take, for example, a Week 10 game against the Jets in 1985. Trailing with only 41 seconds remaining, the Dolphins were 50 yards from the end zone. Hopeless? Hardly. Miracles are what Miami does best.
Perhaps imbalanced here. Here is Marino back to throw. He's going deep. Got a man down there. He's got a touchdown! What a great catch by Duper.
While that victory over divisional rival New York was certainly the key to Miami's third straight AFC East title, it wasn't the Dolphins' most important game that year. That distinction belongs to a Monday night contest against the Bears. It's not hard to understand why. It was personal.
That was one of the most emotional games that I've ever been around for a lot of reasons. My own personal reason was that I didn't want any other football team ever to match that perfect season, and the Bears looked like they might be able to do it.
Myself and Kick and Kuchenberg and Fernandez, a lot of old ghosts drifted into the Orange Bowl to watch that game, and I'm not so sure that it didn't have an effect.
So Csonka and Kuchenberg and Greasy and those people were prowling the sidelines and giving us the support that we needed. And our football team had a lot of pride. And we didn't want to be the football team that got beat and let the Bears continue on this winning streak.
The streak never really had a chance because the Dolphins were playing for more than victory. They were playing for pride and history.
The snap. Back he goes to throw. Under pressure. Ball is deflected in the air. Caught by Clayton. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Miami. They're lucky to good.
Or perhaps luck really is the residue of design. The Dolphin victory preserved the 72 team's distinction as the only perfect squad in history. But by the end of '86, another piece of Dolphin history succumbed to progress. After 20 seasons, the Dolphins and their fans bid farewell to the venerable Orange Bowl and moved into a state-of-the-art facility aptly named Joe Robbie Stadium. Despite obstacles which would have thwarted many a lesser man, Joe Robbie built the impossible, a privately financed stadium. It stands today as the finest and most modern sports facility in the country, a fitting home for a team of the Dolphins' character. And character, in a word, is what Joe Robbie personified. His memory will not be forgotten. But then the Dolphins have always specialized in individuals who leave a lasting impression. Men like linebacker John Offerdahl, whose hits echo on the field and in our memories. His intensity is a Miami trademark, all-out effort, all the time. It's a credo Dwight Stevenson embodied for 9 seasons of uncommon valor. Because Stevenson's gritty game was played behind the scenes, a couple of receivers were given the opportunity to steal the scenes. Mark Duper and Mark Clayton have never disappointed. Since teaming up in 1983, no receiving duo has caught more passes for more yardage than Duper and Clayton. And while it is said that it takes 2 to tango, in Miami it takes 3, because Dan Marino leads. Dan Marino has taken passing to new heights, so it's not hard to fathom his popularity. His disciples are devoted, his imitators many. Be assured, however, Dan Marino is the real McCoy. He already possesses every meaningful Dolphin passing mark, and after only 7 seasons, owns 23 NFL records as well. That number will increase. Rarely has the NFL seen a quarterback with such an array of skills. A quick release, pinpoint passes, the ability to look defenders off and find the open man. And the pure power of the bomb. Dan Marino is an exceptional talent, but in many ways he represents all Dolphins and their dedication not only to great football, but the country's biggest fans, whatever their size. Miami. It's a city like no other, and for a quarter of a century, the Dolphins have proudly called it home. There have been a lot of changes in the last 25 years, but those styles have come and gone. The Dolphins have been the constant. Where fashion has been fickle, the fans have always been faithful. For 25 glorious years, the Dolphins have provided a spectacle unparalleled in athletics. Since the 1970 league merger, Miami is the winningest franchise in all of professional sports. From the bruising blocks of their legendary linemen to the fleet feet of nimble backs, the Miami Dolphins' history is the story of victory time and time again. More than that, it is a tribute to the men of vision and perseverance who made it possible. Joe Robbie, who began with a dream and begot a dynasty. Don Shula, the winningest active coach in the NFL. In his 21 years with the Dolphins, he's coached 13 division winners. 5 conference champions, and 2 Super Bowl champions. His knowledge of plays and players is without peer. But you needn't be a Hall of Famer to know what makes Shula uniquely great.
He's a leader. It's his leadership. His desire to win is always there.
It is a desire which he has imparted to every man who has worn a Dolphin uniform. A desire which makes the Dolphins unafraid of the hard way. For the path of least resistance is not their way. Instead, they have chosen roads not taken. Not because they were easy, but because they were hard. Because there was much to do, they were brave. Because they have accomplished much, they are heroes. How much heart can one team have? Let history judge. The Dolphins are achievers, not dreamers, though opponents might find their defense a nightmare. For in Miami, the defense never rests, and the hits never stop. Miami's reputation as a predictable, grinded-out team is unfounded, because as a Dolphin, to be content is to be held in contempt. Always a team to do the unexpected, to take risks, the Dolphins make the big plays happen. Resourcefulness, innovation, imagination, these are the hallmarks of a champion and the Miami Dolphins. But as unpredictable as a Shula call can be, one thing is guaranteed. Don Shula will return the Dolphins to glory.
I'd like to get this football team back on top, and we've been disappointed here. We've been out of the playoffs for the last 4 years. But there have been a lot of good things that have happened since 1970 here in Miami, and we're going to try to get those good things to happen again for this football team. So I'd like to be able to get us back into the Super Bowl in the 90s and to win a Super Bowl.
What Miami's first play suggested, history has confirmed. The Dolphins are indeed something extraordinary. For a quarter of a century, the Dolphins have danced with destiny, tripping the light fantastic with a beauty and grace seen only in the very best. If there seems to be a special aura surrounding this team, perhaps it's because greater are none beneath the sun than the Miami Dolphins. For with a history of victories too numerous to remember and triumph too great to forget, the Dolphins alone have earned the right to call their story Days of Victory, Years of Glory.